Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for another one of these top 5 best champions in a specific class. Today we are going to be tackling the final class of this series. Took a little longer to get this all out than I had hoped, but that's okay. And that is the skill class, of course. And so before we get into the top 5 list, we're going to go ahead and give a honorable mention to the boy Moleman, who got done dirty by Kabam. If Kabam would have just left him alone, I would have still had a rank 3 Moleman. Now, I do think Moleman is still a really, really solid champion. He would probably be in the number 6 spot on this list. However, after the change, it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to Moleman. And I don't know. I still think he's really good. Maybe he even is still worth top 5. But for me, just shy of top 5. For me. And again, this is my list. So, yeah. Alright, coming in at the number 5 spot is a champion that I do not own. And that is Valkyrie. So, there is a catch, though, with Valkyrie. You want to have Max Sig. For her to be a top 5 best skill champion in this game, Max Sig is essentially required. Because that is going to allow her to only need one of each of her buffs to get access to really powerful utility. You see here, it starts with like a 3.98, so you need to have that many amounts of buffs to counter Unstoppable for the Pierce, and then for the Bulwark, that amount of buffs to be stun immune. But at Max Sig, you only need one of each of these effects, and they're very easy to just get one of them up, and you can keep one of those up forever, infinitely. You don't have to consume it. So that is, she becomes completely stun immune and pretty much the best unstoppable counter in the game, because it's just like a passive unstoppable counter. She doesn't need to apply a slow debuff, that could be shrugged off or, purified or something. No, she just straight up counters unstoppable. It just passively does it. And another big issue with slow, even if you can get the slow to land, they can't shrug it off. It's to do with ability accuracy. So, for example, the 6.2 champion, has increased ability accuracy. So, he could be slowed, you could hit him, and it doesn't work. So, Valkyrie just has, the best unstoppable counter, because it's the first just, passive, straight up, you counter unstoppable. And that seems to be the theme this year with these champions. It's clear that they are meant to be countering something, and they do a damn good job at it. And I mean that's good, and I mean that's kind of what has to happen for these new champions to be something that we want to chase. And I do want to chase a lot of these new champions. A lot of these new champions in 2022 have been incredible. So many really big bangers. So, yeah, man, Valkyrie coming in at number 5, but with the catch of being Max Sig. If she's not Max Sig, I don't classify her as a top 5 skill champion. It's as simple as that. Okay, coming in at the number 4 spot, we have one of my personal favorite skill champions, and that is Falcon. So I really love Falcon, man. I think a lot of people sleep on my boy Falcon. They don't realize just how powerful he is, and I think it's because he's not flashy. You just lock on, and you counter most abilities, and you crit a lot, and that's it. It's really simple, it's really basic, but it is so goddamn effective. I really love Falcon, man. There's so much that he's able to counter with his lock on. Any type of abilities that trigger on hit, he's going to be countering. It is just crazy, and it has a really big advantage against science champions. So Falcon, kind of in his own way, is like a mini Human Torch of his class. Torch, really hard counter to a lot of mystics. Falcon, really hard counter to a lot of science champions. And I feel like I've never heard anyone make that comparison, but I think about it all the time. Every time I fight a science champ, I'm like, oh man, Falcon's so good here. He's shutting it down. And my lock-on is lasting way longer too, which is so nice. It's just wonderful. And you see he gains a lot of it. He gains 4,000 attack rating while locked on with his basic attacks, and that's increased by 40% duration against science champs. And then with your awakened ability, you get additional crit rate while you're locked on. So, and my Falcon's only 669, he's getting 1100 crit rating. I really want to play with like a rank 4 sig 200 Falcon. Like that would be, oh my god, it would be so powerful, man. It's just, Falcon is just so vanilla. You know, that's really, I think, his biggest problem. He's so basic, but he's so good at the basic is really good, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of why Falcon slept on a bit. I don't know, man. Just my personal feelings. I really love Falcon. Maybe I'm a bit more of a Falcon fan than everyone else, and I just might be biased. I don't know. But, yeah, that has Falcon at the number 4 spot on the list. So, coming in the number 3 spot, we have Kingpin. Oh man, Kingpin. This guy is an absolute unit. He is such a beast. His buff was fantastic. And if you have Kingpin, especially with a couple of his synergies, this one here with Hood and Mr. Sinister, then I would say Kingpin is arguably the best skill champion. When you have Kingpin fully synergized and you see the people running this team in Alliance War, it works. It is extremely effective. With Hood, Kingpin gets plus 100% Rage Purify ability action. So he's just shrugging off everything with that synergy. You know, he has a really good base shrug, but with that synergy, it's a lot more guaranteed and reliable. And man, Kingpin, just such an absolute beast. With a special one, you apply a degen, and I think it turns ability accuracy. What exactly does it do? Yeah, they suffer minus 50% attack rating and minus 65% defensive ability accuracy. So, you know, he's not even close to good as Falcon for, you know, countering defensive abilities, but it's still a really good option, and his damage is still great, and that degen is ticking hard. You're able to keep that degen up pretty much all the time, plus shrugging off all kinds of debuffs. It's crazy, man. Kingpin, absolute beast, even without synergies. But with synergies, I would rate him even higher. I really do like Kingpin. My biggest problem with him is he's unawakened. I do have an awakening gem, but I don't know. I just want to naturally awaken this guy one day, and then I'll use him a lot more, I'm sure. Because I don't have him in a Battlegrounds deck, but he's definitely a champ that, like, if I see an opponent has a rank 4 Kingpin, that's one of the bans I always do, because I know how powerful this guy is. I've lost to Kingpin many times in the past, and that is, I've learned my lesson. Okay, if I see a big Kingpin, I'm banning him, because I know just how much of a beast he can really be. Man, love Kingpin. And the funny thing is that these last 2 champions that we just talked about are in the top 5 best skill champs. Kingpin and Falcon, these are through the buff program, which I think is really awesome. And I think that's really awesome. Before the buff program, Kingpin and Falcon were meme tier in this game. And now they're in a top 5 list in 2022. And they both came out years ago. So, man, we need some really good buffs again. But coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Shang-Chi. So, I think Shang-Chi is just absolutely incredible, man. Definitely my favorite skill champion to play with. I absolutely just love this guy's playstyle so much, man. It's so customizable and just controllable. You know, you really just need to learn his wushu strikes, and once you learn them, man, they have so much utility attached to them. You can get slow, you can get cleanse, you can get rid of debuffs, you can become unblockable, and the end of all of your wushu strikes have guaranteed critical hits. Plus, if you can become a really proficient Shang-Chi player, you can increase your damage way more. He has what's called perfect parries and perfect dexterities that, you know, if you time it just right, it's a little bit different than the average parry timing, which is already tight. You get these perfect parries, these perfect dexterities. You're building up more of your chi charges, and on your special 2, you cash in those chi charges to do a ton of damage. So a really good Shang-Chi player can take him to an even higher level, like how really good Quake and Tiger players can take those champions to even higher levels than what they're really designed to even do, which I think is really, really cool. And I love that aspect of Shang-Chi. Plus, his special 2 is just guaranteed crits, which is so nice. So, like, anywhere that is going to be increasing his attack, you should have guaranteed crits. You know what I mean? But your main damage on the special 2 comes from those chi charges. And the more you have, the more damage. But, you know, if you have an outside source, like, let's say, Power Shield, you know, your special 2 is going to hit ridiculously hard. Guaranteed crits, like, just having guaranteed crits is so nice. It's incredible. You just get rid of that RNG on critting. I love it so much, dude. Really, really love it. Shang-Chi, the first time I was using him in the CCP, I soloed Luke Cage in Abyss, who is the hardest fight in there, and the first time I did it, I wanted to just rip my hair out. And I did it with ease with Shang-Chi. Once I learned how to play him, like, it's just crazy how good he is, man, honestly. I really want to get him awakened. Again, I could do it, but he doesn't really need it. It just increases his damage more. The Master of Kung Fu. I'm so happy with, like, sometimes when, you know, Kabam release characters that I want to see in game, I get really worried that, you know, they're gonna suck. So, like, I was a little nervous about Shang-Chi because, you know, he is the Master of Kung Fu. One of my favorite things about Shang-Chi in the comics is that he teaches Spider-Man. They come up with Spider-Man's own type of fighting style. I think it's called Spider-Fu? I'm not sure. I've never actually read that comic. You know what? I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go read that. But I've heard about it, and I really want to see that in MCU one day. But ever since I heard about that, Spider-Man's favorite character, I really loved the Shang-Chi movie, and I just think they did such a good job with him. He's so wonderful. Love this guy so much, man. I'm so happy with how he was implemented into the game. The only unfortunate part about Shang-Chi is he is just like a pure attacker. Like, he's not at all a defender, which, you know, kind of a downside for Battlegrounds. But he makes up for it with his damage and utility. So Shang-Chi coming in that number 2 spot. Before we get to the number 1 spot, I want to go ahead and give out a couple of honorable mentions. So I want to honorable mention Black Cat. Really like her. I think she has potential to be on this list. In really skilled hands, I've seen her do some really crazy and really good stuff, but still a little unsure on her. And then also special shout out to Crossbones. This guy is an absolute beast, and he would be next up on the list. It'd be very close. And same with Hitmonkey. Hitmonkey is an absolute beast. Those guaranteed crits, love him. I think he's just lacking a little bit on the utility and a bit more of a glass cannon, so he just doesn't quite make this top 5 list. But coming in at the number 1 spot, the absolute best skill champion in the game, and I think this is pretty undeniable, undisputable. It's just Nick Fury, man. It's Nick Fury all day long. Like, there seems to be a clear difference of power between Nick Fury and every other skill champion in the game. And the thing is that it's because Nick Fury has such a unique ability. Like, it's different than anything we've ever seen in the game, and that's his awaken ability with this whole life model decoy, which doesn't really make sense for Nick to be a skill champion, because wouldn't a life model decoy be like tech? Anyway, I don't know. I'm really glad that he has skill, but this whole ability, it makes him like the most weird champ for Battlegrounds. Like, it's so crazy that, you know, he has 2 lives. This whole 2 live system, it's the ultimate safety net. Like, I never feel more safe than when I'm playing Nick Fury in War with a full persistent charge. Because I know, like, I can mess up bad enough that I die, and I'll have a full second life to try again. That is such an absurd ability, but, you know, the big caveat to that is it's a one and done. You know, you use it, that's it. Like, you can heal your Nick up to full for the next fight, but if you've consumed that persistent charge, you're just going to degen to 30%. However, in an area like Battlegrounds, where you only get 1 fight, that's all you could ever ask for. So it's just such an absurd ability, that alone. Plus everything else that Nick Fury can do. He has some of the best bleed damage in the entire game. Deep Wounds is such a good idea if you're running Nick Fury. You know, once you really get him, the unfortunate part is to really be set up for max damage, max utility, you do need to consume that persistent charge, and then, you know, you're only going to have 30% health to play with. But that's why I really like having a higher rank Nick Fury. So, like, my Nick Fury is rank 4, and Nick Fury will 100% be my first rank 5 skill champion as well, because that 30%, I want the biggest health pool possible for that 30%. But once you're in that 30%, man, you can become permanently unblockable. You get a fat fury, increasing your attack, and your bleeds. Your bleeds get increased by that. Plus, if you're unblockable, that means you have 15 or more of your tactical charges, and that's where a lot of Nick Fury's utility comes from. Plus 5, you can't miss or be evaded. Plus 10, you can purify all debuffs. So the way to purify debuffs on Nick is to just knock the opponent down. So use a special attack or a heavy attack, and you'll purify at base all non-damaging debuffs on Nick Fury, but at 10 plus charges, all debuffs, any debuff, damaging, poison, bleed, degen, disorient, doesn't matter. You can get rid of all that at 10 plus charges. And then at 15 plus charges, again, you're unblockable. So now, at that point, you're countering evade, miss, auto block, everything. Like, it's crazy. But again, you know, you're trading your persistent charge for all of that. You know, there's some give and take, and I think the give and take is what makes Nick Fury balanced. You know, if you could have all of this crazy utility just permanently in his first life and still have that massive safety net, I mean, that wouldn't really be balanced, you know. So I think Nick Fury is balanced in that way. Well, maybe not for Battlegrounds, but in general, you know, I think he is pretty balanced. But yeah, I really do think Nick Fury, just like no doubt in my mind, easily by a mile, best skill champ in the game all around. I think as an attacker, Shang-Chi is fairly close to Nick Fury. They're both really good, really great damage, really great utility. But I think as a champion as a whole, like Nick Fury just blows him out of the water in the fact with his defensive capability. Nick Fury is one of the absolute best defenders in the game too. Again, because of that persistent charge. And again, Battlegrounds, it's everything. So like Nick Fury, man, one of my favorite rank 4s that I did, and it's a rank 4 that I feel like I really should have done sooner. Like, I am so happy with my rank 4 Nick. I just wish I did it sooner. Really, it's my only regret, is just not doing it sooner. And like I said, first skill rank 5, no matter what, is going to be Nick Fury. There's no other skill champ that could even come out, I think, that would make me want to rank 5 them more. Because Nick Fury is just one of the ultimate Battlegrounds champs, the way he's designed. So, yeah, I love this guy. Cannot rate Nick Fury enough. Easily best skill champ in the game. He's been the best skill champ. And it's going to be really hard for that to ever change. I'm going to need to make some crazy skill champ to be better than Nick. The only way Nick Fury would have been replaced is if Hercules was skill instead of cosmic, which is what people kind of thought at first. But yeah, he's cosmic, so Nick Fury is still king of the skill class. That's going to do it for this video, guys, and that concludes this top 5 best champions in every class. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Again, this is just from my perspective, my experience playing this game for 6 years. No one has the exact same experience playing Marvel Contest of Champions, so of course it makes sense for us to rank these characters a little bit differently, which is, again, totally fine. But let's just keep it nice in the comments. That's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.